What is up? My name is Matt, working for Cinematography Database, and today we're going to be looking at a couple examples of the 180-degree rule as it applies to coverage, and we're going to be looking at and applying that rule to this simple scene between three people. I'm going to show you a traditional approach to covering this scene so that everything makes sense. So let's do it. Okay, so we're looking overhead at a really simple room. It's kind of a large room, and it's being lit by the windows, but the lighting doesn't really matter, and you can picture that this is a real house, even though it's kind of a stage and we're looking through it. This is just so that it's easy to understand and see. So we look at this scene here, and we're supposed to figure out, how am I supposed to cover this, or what angles do I choose that make sense? I'm going to show you the 180-degree rule of covering it, and probably the safest and most standard way to do it. You can do it however you want, but this is a really standard way that you're going to see on TV and feature films because it just works. So what we're going to do is we are going to draw an imaginary line right through the middle of the room, and it's going to be going between these two actors. So we're going to be drawing a line between this person and this person. We're going to only deal with them. We're going to forget that the third person is there at the moment. What we do is we draw an imaginary line between them, and it's actually a plane that goes up. That's why I drew all of these lines here. And what the 180-degree rule means is that if you put cameras on this side of that wall, that these shots of the actors, their eye lines will remain consistent, and where they're placed in the frame will also be consistent. So if we're framing up a shot on this side, we don't want to then turn around and then go on the other side of the line. We don't want to do that. We want to stay on the same side of this imaginary line between the talent. And let's look what that looks like. And let's add the cameras in, and 1, 2, 3, boom, there they are. So we've added two cameras on the appropriate side of the line, and let's look through each one of these cameras right now. So this is clearly the shot of the blonde actress, and the things to keep in mind as we're reading this scene are that one, she's on the left third of the frame, and we're going to keep that consistent, and that she's looking towards the right part of frame. And my mouse and my Wacom tablet is dying. I posted this on Twitter, and I apologize for this. My Wacom is dying. Ah, there it is. And this is what we're keeping consistent. So we're going to switch to the other shot, and now we're looking at the other shot, and the other actress, the other talent, she is on the right third of frame, looking towards the left third. I guess this white window wasn't very good with this white drawing here, but you get the idea. So here she's on the left third of the frame, and as we cut, she's still on the left third of the frame. So this keeps us oriented. If we're to move one of the cameras onto the other side of the line, the eye lines get twisted, they get messed up, and things get a little bit more confusing. So that's the basic idea with the 180-degree rule. But let's look at the 180-degree rule now applied to a scene with three people in it. Okay, so we're back overhead, and what we looked at first was drawing a 180-degree line or wall between these two actors, and we looked at covering them with the two cameras on this side of the wall. But what do we want to do if we want to have the conversation between these two actors? So let's look at that right now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw another 180-degree wall or line between these two actors, and we're going to again want to keep the cameras on this side of the line. So let's actually add those cameras in, and 1, 2, 3, there they are. That's the placement. Put it right against that wall, but not crossing over to the other side. You'll see that they're both on the same side, and let's look at the coverage through them right now. Okay, so now let's break down the coverage between this new pair of matte shots. If you haven't watched the video on matte shots, I suggest that you do. We're going to fly over that at this point. Again, this talent is going to stay on the left third, and she's looking towards the right third. As we cut to the other shot, she is on the right third, looking towards the left third. And that's what we want, because when we edit between the two, like this, the blonde lady, she stays on the left, and the redhead or the orange head, she stays on the right. And that's what we want to keep our scene oriented and our viewer not confused. That's the goal with respecting this rule. Okay, so we're back overhead, and to review, to cover dialogue between the two people right here, we're going to put a line between them and keep the cameras on this side of the line. To cover dialogue between these two people, we're going to draw a line between them and again keep the cameras on this side of the line. So here is a behind the scenes shot of all the cameras at once. You couldn't do this because the cameras would be in each other's shots, but I thought it would be interesting to see them all out at once. So again, this camera and this camera, they are a match set right there. And this camera and this camera, they are a match set as well. And we've added one more if you've noticed in the bottom. This is our wide shot, and you'll see that the wide shot is of course going to be safe because it is on the same side of the line of both imaginary lines this way and this way. This camera is on the same side as all the others. So this is looking through the wide shot, and you'll see that even on the wide shot, we respected both of the 180-degree lines created by the other coverage. So we'll see that we're on this side, and because of that, We have our blonde actress still on the left third, she's still on the right third, and she's also in the middle but also on the right third, and everyone's eyeline is remaining in the same direction. So let's look at a quick little Photoshop edit here so that you can get an idea on how this stuff all edits together. Okay, so say the scene starts on this wide shot, and we start by cutting to our blonde actress here, and she's having a dialogue with the woman across the table. So we cut to her, she says what she's gonna say, and then we cut back to our actress here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pivot on this shot, and we're gonna cut to this shot here. And now we're over her shoulder in a different angle, but what we're gonna do now is when we cut back, we're gonna cut over to that shoulder. And then we can always reorient ourselves and cut back to the wide shot. So if we follow the 180-degree rule for these different match sets, all of their eye lines will remain the same, and the screen direction that they're looking in, that's gonna make sense for the audience. There are places where we break this rule, or we go for dead center, but in general, for almost like 99% of the coverage, you're gonna look to not do that. The idea is to usually make sure that the audience doesn't get disoriented and then break immersion from the scene that you're creating. So in most cases, you're gonna stick to the 180-degree rule, and this is how you would apply it to a 3-person table scene. So that wraps it up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be doing a lot more cine designer style breakdowns. I think that these do make a lot of sense for looking at big, high-level concepts of blocking, camera movement, and even lighting. But don't worry, if you're more into the live action tutorials, we're going to be doing those as well. I'm doing a lot, almost one a week at this point, and I'm also still doing feature film and commercial breakdowns. So I will see you guys on the next episode. You get out there and plan better, shoot better. I hit the microphone. I don't think it made a noise though, because I got this little springy thing. We're all good. Money well spent. Yeah.